We are live.
Why, hello.
We are live.
We did it.
It's a must. Of course we're live. My name's J.A. Dudley, Jiu-Jitsu. I like to drive semi-trucks. I played football one time. I carry a Springfield. Sog knives are the best. I love him.
He had all the points.
He's so memeable. I'm Googleable. He is. He's actually Googleable.
He is Googleable.
We were in Northwest Arkansas doing a thing, and we were at a hotel, and there was a guy who had 4 or 5 too many drinks out in the parking lot with his buddy, and that guy, Mr. I had too many drinks, was trying to start some crap with Dudley, and he's like, "Why are you carrying a gun?" And Dudley's like, "'Cause I'm an American, 'cause I can." And the guy's like, "Oh, you need a gun? You can't, like, what's the matter? You can't fight?" And Dudley just looks at him, and the guy's like, he's like, "Come on, we could fight right now. If you put your gun away, we could go." And Dudley wears all these rings on his hands because it means the rings are a delay to violence. It means he has to be intentional with violence. Yeah. So he'll takes all of his rings off, right? And Dudley's looking at his buddy. He goes, "J.A. Dudley. Google me." And the guy's like, "Oh, who do you think?" The drunk guy's like, "Come on, let's go. Who do you think you are?" And so Dudley's like, "Google me." So Buddy pulls out his phone, starts Googling, and was looks at Dudley, looks at his friend, looks back at Dudley again, grabs his friend and is like, "Shut your mouth. This guy he will kill you." So, anyway, good morning, everyone. We are live from the soon-to-be Refuge classroom, which is different than our Refuge production facility, which you're very familiar with if you've seen us on camera before. So we got minimum production quality today.
Rude? This looks great. I don't know what you're talking about.
Hold on, let me look at that camera.
Well, now it's going to zoom in on Heath's face, but it looks
Are you trying to say Heath's
really
face doesn't
good.
look great?
It looks great.
Heath's face does look great.
It does look great.
I know.
It is
Marry that
fantastic.
I did 14 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Old.
Our anniversary is in like 2 weeks.
It is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it our 14th anniversary?
It's our 14th.
Okay.
First of all, that's how you know it's real, when you have to ask clarifying questions about how long have we been together. I'm saying with Harmony, I'm like, what number are we on now?
So I've forgotten Lauren's birthday one time. And it's not that I specifically forgot what date her birthday is. It's just really, I didn't know that specific day was October 19th.
And then at 7 something at night, he looks at me and goes, "What's wrong with you?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know. It's my birthday." And he didn't even say anything. He just turned around and walked off. Because what was he gonna say to that?
I got it.
I'm cooked. I'm totally screwed. I had COVID. The only time I ever actually got COVID. And I'm still to this day not convinced it was COVID. I think it was norovirus. But early on, like in 2019, and I am laying in bed. I'm on day 3 of high fever, 103 to 105, hallucinogenic. There's just vapors and spirits coming to me. I'm like, yeah, it's bad, right? You sweat through the sheets and the blankets, that kind of sick. And I wake up from a dead slumber, oh my gosh, our anniversary. And I get out my phone.
Oh,
and
I remember the story.
I go to Pro Flowers and order $500 worth of shit from Pro Flowers. And get on Amazon, order $1,000 worth of just random anniversary stuff because I was I'm so screwed, right? And rush ship everything, cookies and chocolates and the whole thing. Chuck my phone and pass back out for another 2 days. So my wife comes upstairs and she goes, "Hey, what's all this? What's all this about?" I was like, "Happy anniversary. I'm so sorry I'm dying." She's like, "Our anniversary was 2 months ago."
Thank you.
You're welcome. So yeah.
Double gifts.
I got March and May. I was so out of it that I got March and May confused. So let's since we're talking about COVID and all that, respiratory distress. There's some. There's a new respiratory thing going around. How do I know? He's got it. Oh my gosh, you sound so terrible.
That's bad. That's bad.
Yeah, it's the wheezing that concerns me.
Barb just texted me saying I could look better. So, thanks, Barb.
Barb? He's got very high standards, though.
That's true.
Yeah.
Dudley said thank you for my introduction.
So there
Love
are,
you, Dud.
Of course, there are. There's allegedly a new North American respiratory virus going around. NARV.
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 Dude, you got the Narv?
You didn't hear about
Bro,
NARV?
the Narv is crazy.
We just invented that. Okay, North American respiratory virus, NARV. So, possible symptoms include fevers or chills,
Didn't have that.
cough,
Have that.
Nope.
shortness of breath or difficulty breathing,
Yep.
sore throat,
Nope.
congestion or runny nose,
Yes.
new loss of taste or smell,
Nope.
Nope.
fatigue,
Yeah, kind of.
muscle or body aches.
I think.
I had that like on day 3.
Yeah, like a lot bit or a little bit.
It was just localized to my back.
No, honey, that's dehydration and your kidneys screaming at you.
No, it was specifically my lower back, very similar to what it felt
Oh,
like
man,
whenever I had.
Omicron.
Yeah.
Oh, the Omicron.
Dude, that was legit horrible.
I forgot about the Omicron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the sore throat and then.
And I remember thinking
Just
about it because,
chest
like,
congestion.
oh, the last time I had a pain in my back like this was then. I was like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah.
But
was
it
the worst.
lasted for like 30 minutes and then it went away.
So, therapeutics. What do you do if you get the NARV, the North American Respiratory Virus? Get some cough drops.
Drink
some
whiskey.
I was just gonna say maybe make a hot toddy.
Oops. What?
Dude, if I gave you the list of crap that I have been taking, you'd think I would be just walking around like vaporizing natural things out of my body.
It sounds like it's working great.
It's great. It's so great.
Yesterday at the office, Lauren was talking, and it sounded like a kid was talking on the other side of the room. I was like, I looked at Philip. I said, "Hey, give that kid a lollipop." I don't know who that is.
Thank you.
So, yay, cough drops!
Cough drops.
Yay! Thank you to our brother off camera.
Are there options? Oh, the Ludens?
For sure.
Oh,
These are the good
wild
ones.
cherry
And
Ludens.
then I got some.
Dang.
Yo, chuck me a Luden's Wild Cherry. They're
Thank
basically
you so
candy.
much.
Thank you, bro. You're awesome. So if you
You
got,
get a cough drop.
oh, thanks, Oprah.
You get a cough drop.
You suck at throwing.
Yeah, I got you, bro.
Full 360.
No drop left behind.
Yay. Cough no more.
So if you got the NARV, North American Respiratory Virus, listen. What you want to jab into your body is in between you and your creator. I'm basically done. About a third of my blood volume is tetanus shot. So, that being said, like therapeutics, have some cough drops, some probably local honey, drink some tea, maybe have a little splash of, I think Omicron is now going to be just like, we're going to use that as a term to mean like a little splash with some bourbon or something.
Nice. Splash
Can I
some
get you to
Omicron.
drink? I'll take a double Omicron.
Yeah.
On the
Elderberries.
rocks.
Elderberry scissor. You ever did the elderberry scissor?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
It's
I know
stout.
what scissor is, so like, kind of.
What?
You don't know what scissor is?
Like, I'm just thinking of my early 20s, what scissor was.
What was scissor when you
Or
were
maybe
20?
I'm thinking
Lauren?
of the.
Purple drink.
No.
Purple drink.
No, the one that it was called. Was it lean? I don't know.
Also
It was.
purple drink, yeah.
Is that what that was? Okay. Yeah, I just remember people doing that.
So I actually was old enough by the time scissor came out that that
Oh,
was
Sarah said it's lean. Yeah, sorry.
Sarah.
Sarah's here.
Our
What's up,
Sarah?
Sarah? We love you.
So we didn't do the scissor. We did the Edward 40 hands. That was the best. You never played Edward 40 hands?
Just tape them to your hands.
You get two 40s of Old English, and then somebody duct tapes them into your hands, and you can't. We should do this in class, minus the 40s. You can't have your hands back until you finish your 40s, And so at some point, you're just in like Mr. Roboto mode when you start, because you just got 2 40s of OE, and you can't spill them, you can't dump them out. And it's a large volume of fluid, and so you need to like pound it really fast so that you can then go to the bathroom or have some really good friends, one or the other. But yeah, you got 2 40s, and you pound the 40s, and then they take the tape off your hands, and then you're back in business. But yeah, it's a whole thing. These were the pre-scissor days.
So we taped the 40-ounce water bottles to the students' hands, tourniquet check them, and they can't take the bottles off until they've successfully
We force hydrate them.
Yes.
I love this. This is
But
great.
they have to figure out how to take the cap off the water bottles in the process.
Yeah, teamwork.
Hmm.
Or, yeah, there's other ways.
Yeah.
There's crevasses in the body.
If you're not, hold on, really quick, if you're not picking up what we're putting down, you really don't want to miss the next class on the 22nd because it's going to be lit.
Yeah, and it's going to be here, right
here.
this very location. So that's refugemedical.com training tab, and that's the June 22nd class. The
20% off?
Refuge Responder, you use Responder 20 for 20% off that class. So there's NARF going around, North American Respiratory Virus. Oh my gosh.
That was like the end of NARV. You got to cough when you say it.
NARF. Good. What about, so you brought up a plane crashed in India today?
Yeah, Indian Air. I woke up this morning and first thing I saw on X was it was a notification, plane crash. And at that point it was 2 hours old, so there's not really a whole lot of information on it. So I'd imagine now it's 3.5 hours.
The plane, which took off at 1:38 p.m. and was bound for London Gatwick Airport, crashed into a dining facility at a local medical college. At least 5 students died, according to Manashki Parikh, the dean of the college. Footage and photos of the crash site showed plumes of black smoke coming from the wreckage, blah, 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 blah. The airline said that the plane, a Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner, was carrying 169 Indian citizens, 53 British, 7 Portuguese, and 1 Canadian. So my brain immediately goes to, who was on that plane that it just happened to fall out of the sky? Because that doesn't mean that that's 100% what happened, but sometimes planes just fall out of the sky because there's somebody or somebody's on them that the big they don't want alive anymore.
It says it was shortly after takeoff too.
So the next thing there is like, did something impact the plane? And was that thing that impacted the plane natural or man-made?
Right.
There's 4,000 man-pads, man-portable air defense systems, shoulder-fired rockets. There's 4,000 of them that are missing since the Afghanistan drawdown. And so, like, shortly after takeoff is like, was it a bird strike? Was there another plane? Remember that time that we also conveniently forgot about, that a freaking helicopter flew into a Boeing in D.C. like 4 weeks ago? And nothing to see here. Don't worry about that anymore. No problems.
Well, what was interesting was in the video, the landing gear was down.
Yeah, so it had to have been right after takeoff. Yeah, and then it hit a medical college. All of this is mass casualty incident, by the way. And I don't want to fly commercial anymore. I haven't flown commercial in a long time. Yep. Yeah, that looks like a bomb going off. You know why? Because jet planes are filled with jet fuel. It looks like it's going down, not up. So the attitude of the plane is good.
Yeah.
It's like it has no thrust. That's weird. That's super weird. Prime Minister Narendra Modi of India said the crash was heartbreaking beyond words in a statement on social media. This is a sad hour. The Boeing 787 Dreamliner aircraft experienced operational problems with passengers aboard, resulting in evacuations and injuries. Why has this plane not been recalled at this point?
Right.
Like, it's a big deal. 53 British citizens. I don't know, man. It's just weird. At a minimum, sucks. Like, that sucks for the people who are on the plane. not good.
Yeah.
When was the last time you flew commercial?
Man, it's been
I was 16.
it's been a long time since I've been on a plane. I think I was 17 years old.
The last time I flew commercial, I was flying into Newark. Where did I fly out of? Dallas? I think I flew out of Dallas into Newark, and the landing was so bad. We hit nose gear first, and then bounced to one of the rear wheels, and then we did this down the runway on landing gear. While I was seated at the right wing, and I'm looking at the right wing on this Delta Airlines, Boeing, whatever it is. The right wing was made of 100 different pieces of sheet metal, all like quilted patchworked over the top of each other from different repairs and stuff. And I'm watching this wing as we're flying, just doing this and going,
like that.
We're gonna die. That thing's not gonna stay stuck to the plane. And between that and TSA constantly trying to stick their thumb in your butthole, I'm just over it. Like, I'm just not a fan. So, you know us, we tend to drive wherever it is we need to go.
Yeah.
I got this thing that I'm doing in...
Good reason.
Yeah. I got this thing that I'm doing in Wyoming, and the voice by Matt, who's setting it up. He was like, "What airport are you going to fly into?" I was like, "Oh, I don't fly." He's like, "What?" I was like, "No, I don't fly. I'll fly private. I'll fly in Dusty's helicopter from Nebraska. What's up, bro? Like that guy, you know. But to go get on a Boeing 787 MAX 8, nah, those things just keep falling out of the
You
sky."
just need a personal plane, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to avoid the Joel Osteen look. You know what I mean?
It doesn't have to be your plane.
Yeah.
You just need somebody within network that has a plane.
Well, and we have some homies on a different facet of the organization.
Yeah.
Yeah. Refuge doesn't have any aircraft, though.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet.
One day.
Sawson said, "I flew back from the ruckus. There were so few people, they had to spread us out to even out the weight of the plane. It
Wow.
was scary.
Wow.
Ma'am, I'm gonna need you to move to the back. Okay? We're a little top heavy."
That's funny, too, because, like, Sowson's not a big human being. So are they, now we're like, what happens if you offend someone? Because some people are very large people, and other people are not very large
Some
people.
people buy 2 seats.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right, so you got somebody who had to buy 2 seats on one side of the plane. They're like, we're gonna need to put 3 people directly opposite this one person. Is that just to trim the plane out? Is that offensive?
That's a social media video waiting to happen. Did you hear about the guy that was driving an Uber and he pulled up for the lady and she was so big that he was like, maybe he had like a little car. He's like, "I'm sorry, ma'am, my car can't handle you." She filmed the whole thing and sued him. And like, Uber sided with her, and she's like, I'm not gonna say anything.
I'm sorry, let me go buy a 3/4 ton pickup real quick and I'll get you done.
Show up with a horse trailer. Sorry, ma'am. I'm gonna need you in the back. You know, listen. Some people do have medical conditions that cause them to be obese. Most people do not. Most people have poor lifestyle choices. And we as a society have rewarded poor lifestyle choices for way too long. Way too long. And it's just, so this is the same, I'm assuming, you know what happens when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. I'm assuming that this was probably in a city, is that correct?
Probably.
I'm assuming the type of person that would film this engagement and post it to social media probably has left-leaning political tendencies, which means we're dealing with the same group of people that can't even define what a woman is, that want to normalize pedophilia, that are totally okay with stealing money, stealing elections, systematic murders of baby in the womb. These people that don't know what up from down is, that what the truth is consistently, systematically eroded by these people, And the reason I bring that up is physics. It's math. If you can't fit in the vehicle, you should be mad at math. You should be mad at yourself. There's only so much space. It is what it is. If we have to bring the horse trailer in order to transport you, that's probably statistically nobody's fault but yours. So
yeah, but you're also living in a society to where they have thus removed any level of or sense of self, responsibility.
So I think that there's societal, hear me out on this, okay? Just go with me here. I think a certain amount of shame is healthy in society.
Dude, you said it, I was thinking it.
Okay? Not that we should destroy people by shaming.
Totally agree.
Not that people need to be eaten up with shame internally and wreck their entire life. Oh, wow.
Don't say it.
What do you mean, don't
That's
say
a
it?
Those were her lawyers with her.
Put it up on screen. A Clydesdale and 2 gay dudes? Yeah, that's... Get the horse trailer. Okay. But there should be... In a healthy society reinforces positive behavior and suppresses, pushes down negative behavior.
Yeah.
And one of the suppression mechanisms is shame. If you can't fit into the vehicle, again, for the 1% of people that have legitimate thyroid issues, have legitimate problems, okay, sure. The other 99%, it's lifestyle choices. And honestly, it's part of why healthcare costs are so high. Because that woman in that picture is going to use 50 times the healthcare services that I am going to use in my lifetime. At least 50 times.
And she was literally just looking for a fat payday.
Oh my gosh.
100%.
Jake said a kid in his grade school got stuck in a desk. He had to get cut out with a saw. He was so embarrassed that he lost 100 pounds in 2 years.
100%. It works.
Good for him.
Good for him. It
Good
works.
Well, and I don't believe in fat shaming, but I also don't think we should have this
there's
fat culture where like everybody's beautiful. Look, I'm 5'2". I'm 50 pounds overweight for health reasons, for my height,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and that's real. I'm trying to do something about it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be about fat shaming. It's about health.
There was, when I was in St. Louis at the First Forum headquarters, which if you ever get a chance to go. Andy Frisella is the real deal. That place is amazing. There was a guy there. We were in their classroom. Their classroom seats 275 people, I believe. And there was a guy there I sat next to. His name was Jordan, another entrepreneur. And we were just talking. And he's, we're sitting just there like this. And we're just, hey, man, what do you do? What do I do? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm looking at him, and his forearms are super ripped and veiny. You know those guys, right? It's like this guy very clearly works out. And I'm like, so tell me what your routine's like at the gym. What are you doing for this? And you could tell he was like touched. I'm like, hey man, I'm not where I want to be. What are you doing? What works for you? And he gets like this single tear in the corner of his eye. He's like, let me show you something. And he pulls up a picture of himself. He goes, this was me 2 years ago. I was 475 pounds. He goes, I lost 200 pounds in 2 years.
Who?
This guy Jordan from Arate.
Okay.
I was
Good
like,
job, Jordan.
damn, bro. I was like, that is even more inspiring because you're freaking shredded now. Like, he went from the blob to shredded in 2 years. And he's like, I go to the gym twice a day. I don't eat crap. I try and sleep good. I'm like, dude, okay, awesome.
Good for him.
Awesome. And there's days where I'm like, I don't want to PT today. Like, I wonder how Jordan would feel about that. And so, because if we're being completely honest, in that moment, what happened to me was I felt shame. I became my own forcing factor. I feel shameful sitting next to this guy who lost 200 pounds in 2 years and went from the human blob to freaking swole,
Yeah. Yeah.
And
it's like, oh, I can do better. And then what's cool about that is he becomes the example.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if Jordan can do it,
Yeah.
and he's just a farm boy from Iowa, you know what I mean? If he can do it, man, I can do it. Anybody can do it. It's not that hard. You just got to be disciplined and stick with it.
Yeah.
So, not that, again, for the 1% of people out there that have legitimate medical conditions, okay, mazel tov. Get that fixed too. But for the other 99 that are looking for a payout from Uber, I think, this litigious society that we live in, I think you bring a lawsuit like that and you lose the lawsuit, you should be responsible for all the legal fees and whatever you were looking to get out of Uber. So she wants $10 million for damages from Uber. Okay, she owes Uber $10 million. And then that becomes the litmus test, is like, is this really worth bringing this litigation?
Well, and then did
Well,
she
that's the
sue the
punishment for
driver?
being caught in false accusation.
Yep. Oh, we could go there too.
Yep.
What does the Bible say about that? Bearing false witness.
Sarah said, I think some people just need to go to the Caribbean for a summer off the resort. How did my Jamaican mother-in-law greet me? You got fat. I ate fruit and salad that day. And then Sky said, he saw a reel from footage from the 50s and 60s at the beach, and everyone was in shape.
Mm-hmm.
It was not normal. But you have to think about the food they had back then. They
real
were
food.
getting into TV dinners and stuff, so it was like the beginning of processed food.
Yeah.
But up until that point, they were gardening. They were making things from scratch. The women were staying home, and they were not stressed as much. Like, they were getting to cook and do all the normal house things. Fast forward to 2025, it's a matter of food convenience. Food's not even food anymore. We're all starving nutritionally, probably. You know what I mean? So no wonder the bread is just glyphosate.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to get back to
Thanks,
gardening.
bro.
We got to get
I'll
back to
step
making
out for a
things from
minute.
scratch. And
Run the show, Heath.
we got to get back to that.
I'm gonna grab my rucksack. I'll be right back.
Awesome. So I do
Lauren
think
needs the mic. I'm like right behind the camera pad. I feel like you should probably hear me the best.
I think that on a lot of that, there's a certain level of, just like T and Lauren have said, I don't condone necessarily the idea of fat shaming.
Yeah, that's not nice.
However, I do think that there is an element of you can appeal to an individual in love, and there's proverbs to that. The word says that the kisses of an enemy are deceitful, but the wounds of a friend are faithful. And that's incredibly important. How much do you love people enough to be like, hey, this path you're on is not good for you? So again, the idea of appealing to your brother or sister in love, knowing and realizing that all the Torah and the prophets hang on two commands, and that's how to appropriately love the Father and then how to appropriately love people. And if you are appropriately loving people, we have to realize that in some way, shape, form, or fashion, I truly am my brother's keeper. At which point, if I love you, then I need to be willing to tell you the truth and appeal to you so that I could see you on a path of health and goodness for your own future.
Well, it's kind of like, we were talking the other day about that company that we're working with that I can't talk about yet.
Yeah.
They're very much so they're about movement. They're about staying fit and, being able to get out there and exert energy. And really, if you're talking about preparedness, and we have a lot of prepper people on here, part of being prepared is being physically fit. And it doesn't mean you have to be this like gym specimen. Like if your lung capacity, like if you can't ruck a mile because you're out of breath, like how do you expect to be able to do things if there were a grid down situation?
Right.
And like we have wilderness responder coming up, and we really emphasize with the students who signed up for wilderness responder that you don't understand. You're going to be walking for a very long time with your ruck that is going to weigh somewhere in the realm of 60 to 80 pounds. And if you
it's total
keep
loadout.
down,
Your ruck is probably going to be in the realm of about 55 pounds, then your chest rig, and then the rifle. So all things considered, your total loadout is going to be right in the realm of about 75 pounds totality.
Yeah. So if you, one of the things I told them is like, you need to put this on, you need to go walk for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Because not only are you going to be dealing with all of a sudden you have all this extra weight, you're not on a flat surface because it's not, he's bringing his ruck in right now.
No stretch of the imagination. Like, you're talking about.
That's very timely.
Like,
what we're talking about.
in Oklahoma, the hottest time of the year is late August. When are we doing this wilderness training?
Late August.
Oh, how about that?
Hydrate or die, MFers.
We're just
if
talking
you
about
guys-
your physical capabilities and fitness and being able to do this kind of stuff.
If you have a desire to come and train with us for our wilderness responder, like, seriously, jump on the opportunity. But with that said, here soon I'll be doing a loadout video on my pack and how to lay it all out and everything.
It's so wiggly. Alright, that's
You
cool.
got it?
Yeah.
You good? Okay.
We're great.
So I'll be doing a video on the loadout and how we actually pack the ruck and everything like that. But again, total loadout. What'd we say your bag weighs?
So my ruck is 50 pounds
50 pounds.
plus I'm at 75 all in.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the med kit.
Yeah, I'm at 75 all in. I'm at 50 pounds on the ruck, 9 pounds here, 15 pounds here, and then a rifle.
So you're right at 70 pounds,
Yeah.
75 pounds.
Yep.
All in.
Yep.
So if you're not, if any of you are already signed up for the wilderness responder and you're not rucking with your kit already out in the heat and the humidity and doing all of these things and getting your body acclimated to that level of stress,
That's it, acclimation.
if you're not doing that, you're wrong. I do not want to render aid to you in a real life event when I'm supposed to be training you. So, again, get outside, use your gear, and if there is in the, on the website, refugemedical.com in the trainers tab, you go to Wilderness Responder, and on the description of that page, you can actually print the loadout for all of our required items.
Actually, so I haven't talked about this a ton. I don't know that I've talked about this, but we created, or we're in the works of creating an online education portal. It's amazing. If you've taken our Train the Trainer, you've
So
already been
good.
on it.
It's brilliant.
Oh,
He's got the nerve.
But
He has the nerve.
anyways,
Came out of
if you
China.
sign up for the Wilderness Responder, you actually get added to the portal section for Wilderness Responder, where you will find the downloadable PDF for your packing list,
Yeah.
the downloadable PDF for your itinerary, along with videos from TJ and Heath and Mike. And
Pre-training for
Philip.
the training.
Mhm. And there's going to be a live Q&A so that we can sit down with you and really get all your questions answered so that you come prepared. Because if you show up to Wilderness Responder and you don't have one of the things that you're supposed to have, you get sent home.
If you fail the layout, I've said this every time this has come up. It's in the official documentation. It's on the website. If you fail the layout, which is the first thing that we're doing before we step off, you cannot participate in class and there will be no refund. There's only 12 slots remaining for Wilderness Responder, and it's in August, and so it's already selling.
yeah.
So, to Lauren's point, there's training before the training. There's a lot of training support on the Mighty Networks. That's part of when you buy the class. You get added to that, so you've got the training before the training. If you're missing one thing on the loadout, you can't come. Why? It's attention to detail. Because we're going to be in the woods for 72 hours teaching a 36-hour curriculum in the woods, and I got it. If you come to train a trainer, control equals safety. I can't finish with fewer people than I started with. That's a problem. You can't get lost. You got to be able to follow instruction. So there's a sorting mechanism here. Fail the layout, where you had all the time in the world to square your gear away and pack every little thing, put everywhere. If you fail the layout, that's a sorting mechanism. You can't come play. And that's the first thing we do when you arrive here. We're going to have a layout before we step. So also with wilderness responder is this.
Well, you guys are getting an exclusive look.
I wanted to illustrate this right here. This is
Dope.
the trainer kit for wilderness responder.
Included
Excited.
with your ticket to the
Yeah,
class.
this is included in the price of the class. This right here is a 511 Rush Moab 8 sling bag. It's also configurable. It's one of the things I like about it. It sticks to my Ruck using 511's kangaroo system, whatever the hell they call. But this is the trainer kit. And so we'll go ahead and we'll just start piling. So you're like, I was looking at the Google bearded green seal guy's wilderness class, and his is only $1,000. So how come yours is more? Because this is an accredited class through ECSI that can be applied to a freaking college degree. You get a bachelor's degree starting with this class that we're teaching. You get a bachelor's degree in wilderness medicine based off of this class that we're teaching. And it includes more than $500 in trainer kit. And the instructor to student ratio is phenomenal. So, what we got? What is that?
Adventure wipes.
What's that?
Eye wash.
CPR shield?
Clamshell. Gloves. Skeezars. Shears. OTC meds. Band-aid bag with steri strips. Pen light. Oh, that's a flush. So we've got, oh, that's glucose gel.
Yep.
I was wondering.
And
When did
And
you do
salts.
orange?
trioral.
And trioral salts. Those are incredibly important.
I got this attached to the bag, but that's my medic tape.
Nice. More gloves. Iodine, provolone iodine. Gauze pack. Oh, these are cold packs. Ooh, ace bandages. You've got triangular bandages, some Coban here. Sam splint. Rolled gauze and some medical tape. Burn gel, ETDs, wound packing gauze, and 2 Gen 7 cat tourniquets. No, that's 1 Gen 7 cat tourniquet.
Yep. And
It's
chest
just kind of
seals.
spread out. BP cuff, stethoscope,
That's the Moab 10.
Moab 10. And a pulse oximeter. There's no batteries in it yet.
no work.
You're dead. That's the trainer kit. Okay? And we're teaching through all of this in a wilderness setting.
Just make sure they can like.
There's an exam
All
for
that's
those
in
that are not aware. If you want the ECSI accreditation, there will be an exam that is administered at the end of class in the field. If you pass that exam, you're now an ECSI accredited wilderness responder. Emergency Care and Safety Institute. Look them up. They're no joke. Okay. So this is. Let me look at this from the other side of the camera. That's.
What do you mean? It's not going
Look
to
at
catch
that.
up. I zoomed in on it. They got to see it.
That's a lot of stuff in the trainer kit. Okay, now I gotta pack it back. So, here, let me have the pressure cuff and pulse ox. Thank you, and stethoscope. Thank you. So,
Honestly, if you throw a fire kit in here,
bro.
you have to
So,
fire and water.
fire, water,
Nailed it.
nailed it. So good. These guys are so prepared. Not worried about them with Iran. You see what's happening with Iran?
I don't run.
Oh,
See what I did
kind
there?
of like on the brink of war.
Yeah, it's about to get interesting.
So much potential.
So we've had the American State Department has been recalling non-essential personnel, basically like families of diplomats and non-essential personnel being moved out of the area in let's see where, all over the Middle East. And the rumor is either Iran is going to nuke Israel. This rumor. Iran is going to nuke Israel, or Israel is going to preemptively destroy Iran. And so nobody really knows what's going on there. PJ had a really good, what do you call it? Sit rep on,
Yeah, he did.
on his Patreon page yesterday. Pastor Joe Fox, Viking Preparedness. I don't know, man. Like, on the one hand, now, and I've also, I heard it through the grapevine that no longer would you be mine, honey, yeah. Boom, 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 boom. So anyway, we know some folks. We got friends in low places, and what I'm hearing to corroborate that is that the people that fly the big planes, the really big planes, and the fast planes, those people are 100% paying attention to this evolving Iranian situation.
Yeah.
That's rumored. It's not confirmed. I don't know. I'm not a plane driver. Are you?
No.
No. So I don't know.
I just have a cup.
That's a fast cup, bro.
Yeah.
But it is interesting that confirming what PJ has said in his video regarding this not all non-essential personnel being moved out of the region. That is at least confirmed via people that I know and trust that is happening. So somebody, within the government anticipates this thing potentially going kinetic and is taking the appropriate precautions to keep our people from getting all jammed up when it does happen. I don't have a lot of great advice on what happens if Iran goes kinetic, because I don't know that Iran is going to hit us here domestically.
Yeah.
But they could hit some of our interests abroad.
Oh yeah.
Which could trigger a retaliation from us. There's what did PJ say? The possible permutations are limitless.
Yeah.
When it comes to how this thing could fall apart. I don't know. But keep an eye on it.
Hey, your tape is out.
No, this tape came from over here.
Oh, okay.
The potential of it going kinetic, there's definitely potential there. Potential of it being nuclear.
These chairs, these swivel chairs. Got it?
Yep.
Thanks, bro.
Yep.
There we go. I'm gonna put this back in the truck.
It's just 65 pounds on his back. He's fine.
That's fine. It's fine.
Totally fine.
So good.
It's
so good.
So good. I love it. Definitely didn't come from China.
Guys, I'm sorry about the zooming. I have looked and tried to change
Why is
settings.
the phone like this?
It doesn't matter. You guys are straight. It's the way that I have a MacBook and an iPhone, and OBS automatically will connect to my phone. And it used to be I could just set it how I wanted it to be, but no, now it started zooming in when people look at the camera. I don't know what I did to make it do that, and I have looked and tried and changed settings. I think I'm just going to uninstall OBS and reinstall it and see what happens. Maybe, because I downloaded some string key players and stuff, so I wonder if one of the ones I downloaded messed it up.
Maybe do one at a time. Uninstall the stream key players.
Who do what now?
I'm just talking about how I got to
you
fix
made a
them.
comment about, and it just jogged my memory, about the wilderness responder and taking the class, and it can go towards ECSI and a bachelor's. It's actually an associate's.
An associate's.
Yeah.
My apologies.
Yeah.
I misspoke. But yeah, you can. There's an actual professional pathway forward from wilderness responder.
Right.
It's not a, hey, we're cool, you're cool, you want to hang out in the woods and learn some stuff, class? There's some of that, but there's an actual curriculum that we're teaching and testing to, nationally accredited curriculum, so it's a significant class. And as such, it's significantly priced, but it is possible to take that curriculum in a classroom, which to me is just stupid.
Doesn't make sense.
Because it's wilderness responder.
Yeah.
And one would anticipate having to use these skills in the wilderness. And so, these are basically EMTB type skills, and then getting into BLS, basic life support, getting into ALS skills, advanced life support, and we're teaching it in situ while you live out of your rucksack. So that in of itself is a teaching point. The PT required to participate is in of itself a teaching point. The working together in large and small groups is in of itself a teaching point. Everything, navigation, signaling, use of your radio is in of its. Those are all their own teaching
points. All of the specific things that are in the required loadout for your pack have a purpose, and learning how to utilize those are for your benefit.
Mm-hmm.
They're all a teaching point.
If I'm going to do wilderness medicine, which is, basic human physiology is the same regardless of where we are. It's the blood inside the body, respirate. Yeah, that's march, right? That's trauma. We're not teaching march in the wilderness. This is not that. This is a different vein of medicine. Does march still apply in the wilderness? Of course it applies if we're in a trauma setting, trauma meaning critical bleeding, but that's not the only kind of problems that people have. When we have critical bleeding, then we open up the march file in our brain and go SMARCH-E, scene safety, massive bleeding, airway, respiratory, circulation, head injury, hypothermia, expose, evaluate, evacuate, elevate. Cool, right? Then I go through that algorithm. I use that file for critical bleeding. But it's not the only problem that people have, right? What if we have somebody's riding their dirt bike. We're all having a day of dirt bikes out in the woods, and somebody flips their bike, breaks their leg, and we're 8 miles from the road. What do? Okay. Well, let's stabilize the patient. Cool. How bad did they break their leg, and where did they break it? Is it compound? Blah, blah, blah. Patient assessment. What are the environmental factors? Is it February or is it August? Right? All this. Level of hydration, the whole nine, full patient assessment. Now we're going to move the patient. Okay, cool. Do you know how to make a travois? And if the answer is, I don't even know what a travois is.
Travois.
It's not a travois, it's a travois.
I heard it on Mountain Men. They called it a travois, okay?
It's not a travois, it's a travois. Do you know how to make one of those?
I do now.
No, you watched the video on how to do it. You're like, that's the Dudley cop-out. I'll watch a YouTube video. Now I'm a travois expert. It's like, no, we got to do it with our hands. Okay? And so, yeah, to the Heath's point, everything on that packing list is there for a reason.
So let's see. Sarah Kelly asked, when is your video on the loadout going up?
Next week.
So, my rucksack is too small. Did you post that video, hun?
Yeah, in the wilderness responder.
In the wilderness responder
They
app?
can't see
Okay.
it unless they're there.
Gotcha. So, for you guys who are actually already signed up for the class and everything, there's a video where we go over the ideas of like what the rucksack is supposed to look like, the expectations of weight and everything like that. The rucksack that I have is too small. I ordered my new rucksack yesterday, so I'm expecting it to come in. Whenever that comes in, I'd imagine sometime next week, T and I, we will do a full loadout, like all of the items going into said rucksack, how to pack it out, all of the things pertaining to everything within those things, like carabiner specifications, how to what are the specifications of an actual climbing rope and where we can get that, so on and so forth, like all of the different details for your benefit, rather. So Sarah, that will not be until my pack comes in. I'd imagine within the next week and a half to 2 weeks we can have a video like that. Yeah, yesterday.
Which one did you go with?
Crossfire.
You're so bougie.
That's a nice pack.
It's a nice pack.
Philip has a Crossfire.
Yeah,
as
he
well.
was drooling over
That's
it.
a nice pack, man.
He did not, so they didn't have the green in stock. All they had was the multicam.
The green was so beautiful, though.
I was in a toss-up, and then I started looking at the website, and I was like, all they have is multicam. My colors!
Rucks are kind of a everybody's built differently.
Yeah.
Everybody's shaped differently.
Yeah.
You know, I have wide shoulders and a long torso, and so what works for most people, doesn't work for me. It's one of the things that is the 511 Rush 100, that ruck that I have. Is it the best ruck? No, it's not the best ruck. It's very serviceable. I've been using it for years. But it's the best ruck for me.
Yeah.
Because it's tall, which matches my long torso, which means I can move the waist belt where it needs to be so that I don't have a belly button belt, right? I can actually get it on top of my hips to redistribute that weight. And the shoulders, the straps are wide enough, because that's a common problem for me with rucks. Most people's shoulder straps are falling here. And so I'm wearing my shoulder straps on my traps right next to my neck, right? And so I need it wider than that, so it's actually falling on top of my shoulders, because otherwise what happens is I will curl my shoulders in while I'm rucking, and this posture sucks, and this actually causes back pain, lower and mid back pain, of rolling my shoulders in like that to try and hold the weight that the shoulder straps are supposed to be doing. Whereas if the straps land, if they're wide enough to land where I need them to land, I can just let my shoulders relax, and I'm carrying at least part of that weight on my hips, and everything's hunky-dory. It's good to go. So anyway, No Kings is coming this weekend on Shabbat on Saturday. So
we'll stay out of the fort.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to go to Fort Smith on Shabbat anyway. But it's what I don't know, and what nobody knows to this point, is this a nothing burger, or is this something that the big they are going to try to intentionally accelerate? And also, so this is single source data, this map that's aggregated on nokings.org, but the whole United States is covered with dots. Now, just because nokings.org says that there's going to be a demonstration or a protest in these locations doesn't mean that there's actually going to be one, because whoever it is that's, we'll just pick a town.
I thought George Soros retired.
Yeah. No, his son Alex is in charge now. McAllister, Oklahoma, right? Okay. So who's going to host the protest in McAllister, Oklahoma? If that person or those people fall through, then there won't.
Will that get wrapped up and everybody goes to Tulsa?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And so we don't know all these data points on this map. A, they aggregated the data. We didn't. B, the certainty with which these things will happen in that location on that date is an unknown. But it's still a lot of dots. It's hundreds. I think we talked about on Tuesday, there's more than 3 million people who are signed up to participate on Saturday. If a tenth of them show up, that's still 300,000 people. It's a big deal. And so my hope is it's a nothing burger, nothing bad happens. But I think what they could be trying to do is get and here's the thing. How bad are the protests, the demonstrations, the riots? They're not, in that localized area, they're bad. But it's the perception. It's the legacy media news cameras that are pointed at those protests. It's the social media influencers that are filming only that's going on right here in this localized one block area to create the perception that we have this nationwide problem to do what? It usually results in a loss of freedom and more control for them, whoever they are. So I don't know what the end game is here, but I do know that while they are playing towards whatever their end game is, I don't want to become a casualty in the process. So I just recommend avoiding those places. I would monitor your local intelligence, what ham radio repeaters, local Facebook groups, whatever, see what's going on. I hate Facebook personally, but there's a lot of useful open source
It's
chatter.
probably just as likely that, they'll be bussing people in.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I mean,
in the major areas, they'll definitely be busing people in. What'll be interesting to see is take that device data for individuals that show up at these events and compare that against Kamala Harris campaign events and BLM events and Antifa events, and find patterns. My oldest daughter was telling me on Craigslist, you get paid to protest $1,500 to $2,000 a day. I was like, it's on Shabbat. I mean, other than working on Shabbat, like we could just bring the whole church, make a couple $100,000 in a day, and be like, hey man, the church is paid for.
We need an inner system.
It's like, I hate white guys. Like, I don't know what my sign's supposed to say. No oppression. So anyway, yeah, my oldest daughter was finding Craigslist postings for protesters paying $1,500 to $2,000 a day. It's like you don't have to do too much research. On Tuesday, I did the OSINT live on Tuesday. I was like, who's paying for this? It's Act Blue. In whole, no, there's probably other contributors as well. A lot of chatter about could be Walmart, could be this, could be that. But it is definitely in part Act Blue. Act Blue is the one through 3 or 4 or 5 levels of obfuscation is responsible for this nokings.org website, through mobilize.us, was through an entity that's in downtown Manhattan in New York City. We did all the data, we did all that on Tuesday, and it goes back to Act Blue. Okay, cool. So Act Blue, in part or in whole, is paying, and who funds Act Blue? Now we get into Soros, we get into tax fraud, we get into the old boy network, right? Who's washing money through Act Blue? But we know that Ukrainian money, or money earmarked for Ukraine, from the United States to Ukraine, was washed back through Act Blue, and that's where Zelensky's like, I'm missing $100 billion. I never even got it. Not that he's a reliable witness, but you see my point? They sat on top of it, and they're going to use that money to inject into their air quote grassroots people here to create the impression of nationwide riots. But to what end? On the same day, by the way, 250th anniversary birthday of the United States Army. Well, Trump's got tanks in D.C. Okay, cool. So, keep your head on a swivel. You got a boo-boo?
Yeah, I cut myself on foil yesterday, right on the knuckle. So whenever you bend it,
On foil?
like I got those nachos, or Heath got me those nachos. Right when I opened it, I sliced my finger on the rim of the thing.
That sucks.
Yeah,
Can't make this
right
stuff
where you
up.
been too.
Dude,
Right
trauma medicine right there. Deploy
Yeah.
Band-Aid. Let's go.
You know how many band-aids I've
Asked her if she
deployed?
needed a tourniquet.
That those nachos look stellar.
Dude, yellow Mexican, not Guanajuato nachos.
Yeah,
Yellow Mexican.
They were fantastic.
They are so good.
I'm gonna have some nachos today.
I like it.
I will not say no to more nachos.
We gotta go to class.
No.
So
Yes, we do.
we love you guys. Call us if you need anything. Hit the website, refugemedical.com.
Sign up for the Wilderness Responder.
Yep.
It's going to be fantastic. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to have a great time. How many classes do we have coming up for, or I'm sorry, not classes, how many spots do we have coming up for the June 22nd class
We
in this
still-
building right here?
We still have some spots. I know we had a couple more seats still. We still have some.
Yep.
And then after
Guys,
that
if you're
one,
wanting to get trained
Yep.
by this guy and myself,
And
and even Mike's
Yep.
going to be here too.
Big Mike.
we've got a class coming up June 22nd. That's in literally a week and a half. If you guys can
That's
make
a
it out.
man.
Sorry, I just thinking of Michelle Obama. Totally I did. Huge junk. Please continue.
Everybody knows it. You know it. I know it. We all know it.
Everybody knows it. Baraki's gay. He likes the dudes.
Sorry. Go.
Sorry.
You're done.
Anyway, come to class. It's
Sign
gonna be
up.
Awesome. Yeah. And Father's Day is coming. Buy
Sure
Dad
is.
something that he can actually use.
That's right.
First aid kit, and we've got a bunch of stuff that's in stock and shipping fast. We can ship it to you today at refugemedical.com.
You can use code DAD
20
DAD20
for all nylon.
and that
kits.
actually
Oh.
stacks with that.
The
That stacks with the
responder-
code
Yeah,
for.
you can get Responder 20 for 20% off, and then on top of that, get Dad 20.
And that Responder 20 goes towards the June 22nd class. So if you guys want in on that,
Inaugural class at the new facility.
Don't confuse the potential customer. June 22nd, there's a class here. It's going to be awesome.
yes.
Wilderness responders coming. Sign up for that. If you can do one class with us this year, that
That's
one's
the
going to
one.
be a banger. That's 3 days, 2 nights in medicine intensive. You'll be doing a lot
I'm
more
so
learning than
excited about it.
sleeping. Repeat. You'll be doing a lot more learning than sleeping. Okay? And then
True that.
Father's Day, get Dad something cooler than a tie, or some more cufflinks, or another set of tongs for the grill. Love grill tongs, love them. Don't need a new set every year. Buy Dad the gift of life, and if for whatever reason Dad's no longer here, or maybe you weren't friendly with Dad when you were a kid, who has filled that role for you in your life? Reach out to them and let
Yeah.
them know what they mean to you, because we do a bad job of telling people we love them. And so you should do that. You should reach out and say, hey, just want to let you know, I was thinking about you today. Love you today. Appreciate you pouring into me over my lifetime. It's meant a lot.
Yeah.
I know. I have a handful of people in my life that have been like that for me. And every now and then, they'll be like, man, kid, you're doing such a good job. I'm like, thanks. This is your fruit. It's not my fruit. It's your fruit.
Yeah.
If you hadn't poured it into me, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing now. So this is your fruit. Okay? So let them know that. It's way cooler than a tie. Alright? Love y'all. We gotta go.
Bless you guys.
RefugeMedical.com. We out.
Do it.